Welcome back everyone, Jake here. Today's video is going to be very difficult for me to make because I'm going to have to break one of the cardinal rules of my channel. And that rule is I don't talk about cryptocurrency. Yes, I identify as a finance YouTuber. On the homepage of my channel, you'll notice I advertise I will talk about finance, investing, credit, and taxes. However, in the 3 years I've been making videos, close to 600 of them, I've only talked about cryptocurrency twice. I did this about 18 months ago when the price of Bitcoin was going parabolic, and I simply stated that I was extremely skeptical about the future of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin specifically. These videos did not do that well, and I got a lot of people who said, I'm unsubscribing from your channel. You need to read a book. You need to do your due diligence. You're going to be kicking yourself for not buying Bitcoin at 60,000. It's going to 100. It's going to 1 million. So rather than just make a video every couple months saying I've never bought or sold or invested in cryptocurrency, I decided just not to talk about it on my channel. And by not talking about cryptocurrency, I gave up a lot of views and a lot of subscribers because, especially on YouTube, talking about cryptocurrency gets a lot of people excited. These videos get a lot of views. I think a lot of people are familiar with Andre Geek. He's great. He was a very early adopter of cryptocurrency. I 100% believe that he is still confident in all of his cryptocurrency investments. Definitely he'll be holding for the long run. Another crypto YouTuber that maybe you've heard about is Brian Jung. He currently has over 1 million subscribers. And there was even a CNBC Millennial Money article written about him last month, and it's titled, "This 25-year-old quit college to become a crypto YouTuber and made $3.7 million last year." Now, I want to just highlight for people who maybe saw this article that he made this 3.7 million from YouTube AdSense. Additionally, promoting referral and affiliate links for crypto brokerages. I get these emails, I get these offers. In good conscience, I cannot accept them and promote crypto brokerages on my channel because I personally don't believe in crypto. However, all the money that Brian Jung the last 18 months has made from YouTube that he's invested in Ethereum and Bitcoin. He's a great guy. I've been following him for 3 years when he primarily talked about credit cards. He then kind of moved on to stimulus check updates. And since Bitcoin went parabolic in 2021, he's been exclusively talking about crypto. However, every dollar that Brian Jung has put into Ethereum or Bitcoin the last 18 months, he's only lost money on. It's only gone down in value as he holds it. Ethereum peaked on November 7th, 2021. Bitcoin also peaked on November 7th, 2021. Both of these cryptocurrencies are currently down about 70% from their high. All right. So here's my video from February 21st, 2021, where I said I do not buy Bitcoin, how Bitcoin can go to $0. Here's the charts on Yahoo Finance of Bitcoin going parabolic to $55,000 a coin. So 2 or 3 months prior, it was easily at, I think, like 10,000, and then it just went parabolic as everybody was getting stimulus checks, Fed rate at 0, increased government spending, everybody's refinancing their mortgage in order to pump it into the stock market, pump it into crypto. And I just saw a graph like this and asked the question rhetorically in the video, show me another time that an asset has done this and it ended well for it long term. I just, at the time, was expecting a pullback. How far, I couldn't say, but I wasn't willing to just jump in, hop on the bandwagon, along with a lot of other finance YouTubers and start promoting crypto after it had already gone up 500%. So why is crypto selling off now? And I actually think to illustrate and demonstrate a pattern is developing, let's look at the last time Bitcoin crashed. So let's go back to July of 2017. This is almost 5 years ago. And you could argue that Bitcoin went parabolic over 6 months. It was up 600%. That's a pretty fantastic investment. It peaked in December of 2017, and then it crashed. It went down 83% in value. So for everybody out there that leaves the comments, crypto is volatile, you have to be able to stomach these drops. From its own history, yeah, you need to be able to withstand and not become demoralized seeing your account go down 83%. So what else was happening in December of 2017? Here is the federal funds effective rates. I show this in a lot of my videos these days. And we're going to zoom in on the time period that Bitcoin has existed. So here it is. Bitcoin was launched in January of 2009, and the Fed just lowered interest rates to 0. And Bitcoin and most other cryptocurrencies has only existed in an environment where money is basically free to borrow. However, in 2016, the Fed started raising interest rates as the economy recovered. So when we fast forward to December of 2017, the Fed is raising interest rates. They're signaling that more interest rate hikes are coming. The likelihood of a recession being triggered when this occurs is greater than, basically when everything is flat here. So Bitcoin 4 or 5 years ago sold off in response to tighter monetary policy. So if we go from December 2017 to December 2018, as the Fed is raising interest rates, Bitcoin craters 82%. However, there was some politics involved with President Trump, but in July 2019, the Fed reverses, starts lowering interest rates again, and the price of Bitcoin does somewhat recover and stabilize. We'll then fast forward to the COVID crash. We've got stimulus checks, increased government spending, Fed rate back down to 0, and this is when Bitcoin goes parabolic. If you had bought it at the dip during the COVID crash and held it until March of 2021, you would have been up 1,000%. So what is happening here with cryptocurrency? Because it's not a protection against inflation, a hedge against inflation. It's not a hedge against recessions. It seems deeply related to fiscal federal monetary policy and the money supply. So this is M1, and this is basically the Federal Reserve's best guess at how much money is currently in existence. So this is billions of dollars seasonally adjusted, and this 20,000 over here represents 20,000 billion. So that's $20 trillion that exists in the money supply. And generally, the money supply just goes up over time as people borrow more and more, and then things appreciate in value. Let's now fast forward to the COVID crash, and the amount of money in existence, the amount of money in circulation, jumped from 4 trillion to 16 trillion. It basically quadrupled. And it just kept going up as central banks around the world kept monetary policy pretty loose, lots of stimulus spending. And why is Bitcoin crashing now? I showed you that the rates, the federal funds rate is going back up again, which means the money supply is going to contract. So let's zoom in. You can barely see it, but we're going to zoom in to this recording at March of 2022. So we've got a value of 20,709, and we're now seeing the value for April 2022 at 20,620. The money supply just contracted. It just contracted for the first time potentially since the 2008 recession. I'm not even kidding you here. And I think this is what is causing all cryptocurrencies to crash. The idea that tomorrow there will be less money in the system, less money to go around for everyone than there is today. And this is the first time this is going to be happening, at least in the United States, for the first time in 14 or 15 years. Bill Gates called it out last week, and I tend to agree that cryptocurrency and NFTs are based on the greater fool theory. Cryptocurrency has no intrinsic value. You only buy it today if you're an investor. You only buy it today because you're hoping someone tomorrow will buy it for a higher price. And it's not a bad argument if you see utility in cryptocurrency and there's a finite amount of it and everybody in the world eventually is going to adopt it, eventually is going to want it. This is a very attractive argument for the crypto bulls out there that, hey, as its acceptance and use becomes more widespread across the globe, the early investors, the early adopters are all going to become fabulously rich. But it's still based on the greater fool theory that it will achieve widespread adoption or more people will want to invest in it and pay a higher price than you paid. And I personally am just biased towards other asset classes. With commodities, you have physical stuff. With real estate, you have actual land. With bonds, there are legal guarantees you will be paid. And with stocks, you're paying for the profitability, the free cash flow generation of a company. You have a share in the equity of this company, and the board of directors, the CEO, has a public obligation to the public shareholders. With cryptocurrency, people love to zoom out and show its all-time performance to reassure people when there's been a 70 or 80% drop. But here's the stock performance of Apple all time. This is the largest company publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange. All time since its IPO, it's up 219,000%. So stocks are pretty good. I could show you an index fund over 30 or 40 years. It's also pretty impressive. But when you buy a share of an equity in a company, you're getting, if it's a good company, you're getting the profits returned to you as a shareholder. So this is the dividend payout of people who own Apple shares of Apple stock. This is macrotrends.net. So anybody holding one share of Apple last quarter got a dividend payment of 89 cents. That's pretty amazing that you just got paid for holding this share of Apple. Likewise, companies can return profits to their shareholders by repurchasing stock. This shows you the year-over-year quarterly buybacks that Apple does, and they've just been gobbling up their own shares over time, increasing your equity in the company. Your ratio goes up. You have more ownership when Apple buys back its own stock. Cryptocurrency can't do this. There's nobody generating a profit that's being returned to you. Crypto pays no dividends. And crypto, unfortunately, is inflationary. To compensate the miners, more cryptocurrency has to be created. New Bitcoins are coming into existence every year in order to keep the system going. It's not a lot, but as a crypto investor, you just hope that once again, more people buy in, more people participate, then new coins come into existence. So let's get philosophical here and talk about what is the main purpose of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So I'm just going to read this paragraph to you from Investopedia. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, a virtual currency designed to act as money and a form of payment outside the control of any one person, group, or entity, and thus removing the need for third-party involvement in financial transactions. So I hate to be the guy that says this, but Bitcoin is doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. You can still use it as a peer-to-peer transaction service to circumvent governments and central banks. So Bitcoin is doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's not a hedge against inflation, it's not a hedge against recession, and it's not a store of value. And it's pretty volatile, so it makes it difficult to even use it as a currency because you have no price stability. You're always referencing what is the exchange rate in US dollars. So in my last two videos, I listed 10 reasons why I was skeptical of Bitcoin specifically, but cryptocurrency in general, and I'm just going to hit you with my strongest one. And my strongest one is that the rate of technological innovation and development over time is not linear, it's exponential. The farther we go into the future, the later we go in this century, the more that technological innovation is going to accelerate. And Bitcoin specifically is 2008 technology frozen in time forever. I know people want to make the argument that blockchain technology and Bitcoin is this new thing, but it's really not. It's now 14, almost 15 years old. To put that in perspective, would you want to heavily invest in other 2008 technology like the Motorola Razr V3? This was the best selling cell phone in 2008. And where I'm going with this is that the source code for Bitcoin is static. It can't be updated. It can't be changed. Yes, it's encrypted to protect nefarious actors from disrupting the ledger, but all encryption, probably within this decade, by 2030, is going to be broken. So quantum computing is coming. Computers so powerful that any encryption that was put on Bitcoin in 2008 will not stand a chance against computers by 2030. So when this day comes that some hacker or a nefarious state that has access to quantum computing, maybe North Korea, Russia, or China, they can then break the code, corrupt the ledger, and either steal Bitcoins or just basically make it all worthless. And if they do this, I guarantee you that there will be a panic. Everyone will want to flood out. Who would buy a corrupted source code where basically you can't trust any of the transactions that are occurring? So this is the future I see for Bitcoin specifically, but I'm not ruling out the possibility that a decentralized currency is coming, one that can be updated, one where there's maybe a duplicate register protected somewhere. This kind of defeats the purpose of, once again, avoiding banks and governments, but if a bank or government could give some kind of security guarantee to investors, to ordinary people, it would give it more stability. But this is just how I see it, and I could be entirely wrong. The future of Bitcoin in general could be very bright. Once again, you could look at this chart and just say it's a fractal, basically. It's going to drop 80. It dropped 80% 5 years ago. It's going to drop 80% this year, and then 5 years from now, maybe when the Fed lowers interest rates and the money supply is expanding, maybe Bitcoin will finally reach $100,000 or $200,000 a coin. I don't know. I want people's investments to succeed. I don't want this video to sound like an I told you so. That's not my intention. I want people who follow my channel to make money. I also realize that people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, and I've lost plenty of money this year investing, trading options contracts, but I understood the risk and I understand why I lost a lot of money this year. So hopefully this video can give you some perspective if you do see a future for cryptocurrencies and potentially you're deciding to buy this dip. Okay, that's all for this update video. If you found it informative, give me a thumbs up. Really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. If you have any questions or comments or want to tell me I'm a fool and crypto is the future, let me know in a comment down below. I love hearing from you guys. Till the next video, take care.